Hey guys, today we're talking about future updates that are coming to Skyblock, and also ones that have not been announced but potentially will come out in the future based on what we already have in the game. So if you had fun, it's interesting, maybe think about liking the video and subscribing, and if you have any cool ideas yourself, maybe comment them below. So let's get started. As you guys can see, they updated the hub today, which came as a surprise. They kind of tweeted about it a few hours, and then 2 hours after they tweeted about it, they updated it. So we're gonna walk around and talk about some new stuff. There's actually one new thing in the hub, which is pretty interesting, which you're going to probably find it since I don't know my way around. But it ends up being a community house, which is, they talked about promoting a mayor or something, which does sound interesting. But how it's going to work, I've seen people theorycraft it, and essentially it was like promoting like an NPC, like people vote and would provide some sort of buff, which does sound pretty interesting if you ask me, which it is right here, by the way. I am blind. And you talked about the NPCs. This is the only new house, unfortunately. Otherwise, feel free to go look out, go in the hub yourself, look at the new layout. So what updates are coming in the future? As of right now, we have the rest of dungeons coming out. They did talk about a new island as well, which is all the way over in the Mushroom Desert, which I assume is the next island they are working on, which I think would be really cool if they went with like another end. As you can see, the portal has some sandstone blocks as it's as what it's made up of. So I was thinking maybe it's like a pyramid / desert based island. And if they honestly just go about and make like a new Ender Dragon type boss with very similar island, it'll be a really big hit since we got a lot of content out of that. Besides that, yeah, we have dungeons as well, which it is really far off from being completed. As of this video right now, there is still only 4 floors out. We're still waiting on floor 5. At the pace they're going, we're not going to get completed this year, which is really unfortunate. Like me and a lot of people, if you guys remember, it was kind of teased last year in September, and it finally came out in July. I'm like, maybe they'll fully release it by end of August, but I couldn't have been more wrong since we're already halfway through August and we don't even have floor 5 yet. There's also master mode and all that other stuff, but this isn't just a video talk about dungeons, right? But this is kind of like right now the primo content that we have and something to look forward to that should be consistent. So, probably floor 5 in like a few weeks, I assume, since it's already been 2 weeks since floor 4. But, who knows? There's also the Abyss, which that was something talked about too, but don't know if that's even been worked on, since that seemed like it would be part of a fishing update. Because when you think Abyss, you think underwater. You think the Guardian mob, which I think would be really cool if they had like a big underwater area, which the diver's armor has literally no use. Like, it kind of sits there and it's just a waste, which is kind of lame. Like, we're gonna quickly look at it because it's got sitting in an armor stand. And a little cool thing for you guys, this is probably one of the only divers sets left with this passive on it, like the epic with these stats, since I just left it in an armor stand since whenever I stopped using it. But while you touch water, you move incredibly fast and you breathe permanently. So eventually at some point they would add in an abyss, which would be a whole underwater island, and you'd have to use divers, which they should totally, if they ever do make it so you have to use the diver's armor, or you would be crushed by the pressure of the water. Which, I don't know if you guys ever played Terraria before, but there is an abyss biome in Terraria, which the further you go down, the more damage you take faster, stronger mobs, stuff like that. Like, honestly, there's a lot of cool things you can take from other games, especially Terraria. Let's yoink that and put it in Skyblock. That'd be cool. But basically, I expect this to be something like that. Having it require something like divers would be very cool as well. It gives a use to an old item that never got to really shine since it came out and then had this cool water ability and never got used. For some reason, they also added in a pet, which, if I can find it, here it is, that buffs the stats of diver armor and gives you strength and defense near water. But again, we don't have this water content, so I feel a lot of the time they're like, okay, at some point we're doing this, so we'll add in stuff early, which is something I want to complain about right now. So if you get, I complained about this in my last video too, where they release stuff early, whether it's a teaser or anything. Like, they release the dungeon hub early, they release stuff early. Like, they flying fish gives diver armor stats. Well, there's no point to have this in the game right now. It should be a completely different ability, because no one is going to use this armor because it's just bad. Like, you can use superior. Like, it has really good stats. Don't get me wrong. But for the amount of time you can put in to get it, you can get something like Wise Armor, which is just as good and infinitely cheaper. So, there goes my rambling on that. So, we kind of covered the updates that are already on the way, / we know about. So, what else is there? So, right off the bat, I'm assuming a lot of people think skills. A lot of people talk about raising the skill cap, and I don't think they will raise the skill cap again for a while. I've had some really interesting discussions with people about what they should do with skills. Like, someone, I can't even like think of like who like talked about it. I talked about myself and people talked about it, but example would be, not claiming credit for this at all, but prestiging skills, which is a really cool idea, since there are a lot of people who are literally just sitting on level 50s and stuff like that, and being able to do something with your extra XP, like converting it, let's say you prestige your skill, you get a bonus, like permanent boost, and you get to relevel, which releveling is a pretty big aspect, because what can we do with all this extra XP? Like, people are sitting on millions of XP past combat 50, past any skill 50, and it's just wasted. And it also felt like that when Pets was released, like it was a big slap to the face, because you have all this extra XP from people level 50, and they don't get the benefit from it because Pets wasn't here. Same thing with Taming, but that's a different case. So I think one day they will do something with skills, but before they do, they need to work on them, because there's still quite a bit wrong with them. Like, the XP per hour is very random. Like, a lot of them are really slow. Like, you take Alchemy and Enchanting, they are very fast skills. You can get like 4 mil an hour with Enchanting. I don't know, you can probably get like double that with Alchemy. I don't even know. But when you look at stuff like Fishing, you can get like a few 100k an hour at like most. Taming, it's based on your other XP gains, so most are like Alchemy and Enchanting. And you have Farming, Foraging, and Mining, which are all probably around like the few 100k as well. Combat, really weak. They nerfed like farming methods for this, so they need to add new methods for every skill, or just lower the XP curve, or something like that. Because leveling skills is too long, it's too boring. They need to add new ways to like reward players. So pretty much, those are kind of like the only things in Skyblock that I can think of for the most part. I'm sure you guys have plenty of other thoughts on what you think would be cool to add and stuff like that. I'm not the most creative person. Mainly, something that I'm looking out for, which is what I mentioned during the video, was something like a new End Island. It's, to me, the End was one of the best new contents that they added in. Very exciting. So if the new deserty area is going to be like that, I think it would be cool. And we really do need a kind of new boss, if you ask me. Because the Ender Dragon was such a cool concept. How people would go to the end, run around, beat up the mobs, eventually get 8 summoning eyes, and then fight a dragon. And then you get some loot. Now, they do need to rework the loot system for any kind of boss fight. Especially dungeons, but that's a whole different tale that I'll probably rant about another day. But the loot system for like any kind of boss fight needs to be fixed quite a bit. And that's because it wasn't rewarding. And I really hope it's something they think about, especially if they continue adding new islands, because I totally see them remaking the End. Because one of the best things that you can do is, if you have like some kind of hit kind of content, is you just kind of change it slightly, and then you make like a new version of it. Like, that's what I feel is the best way. It's like, just slightly, you just like slap a new sticker on it, release it, and people will be happy because it's still what they've been doing all along, just slightly different. Which, the new hub, I don't know if you guys like looked at it yet, but this is different. I know it's a quick tone shift there, but change, to me, it's good, but the change to the hub I'm kind of sad about. Like, if you actually rate it this far, I'm just gonna give like a quick opinion on the hub as well, kind of at the end of the video. It's cool, I guess, a lot of new buildings. I mean, they could do with a lot less buildings. I mean, it's cool, let the builders show off stuff like that. But like, here you got like, multiple NPCs, like, you don't really need, like, they don't really need all these extra NPCs, I feel like I'm playing Windcraft now, there's like a billion NPCs, and not like there's like a lot of players in the hub, but you don't need all the NPCs to go with them. But yeah, and it's cool. Unfortunately, like, I thought they had like the Coliseum change, but they didn't. All we really got was new building layouts, and then this little water trough here, which don't even know what, or waterfall, don't even know what it does, or the point. Wizard Tower still does nothing. So, yeah. Well, on that note, those are just my thoughts on Hub Island. It's cool, I guess, but no new content, so eh. Thank you guys for watching. You guys made this far. Maybe just, leave a comment saying something what you thought about the video, or just any cool ideas you got, because I'm really interested in what you guys have to say about Skyblock in general, whether it's with like future updates, or you got any cool ideas, because I like reading them. It's really interesting, like bouncing ideas off other people and hearing what you guys have to say, because it helps me come up with my own ideas too, and help build on what you guys say as well. So on that note, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'll catch you guys next time. See you in another stream or video or whatever. Bye.